On today's episode of Unpacked Suitcases, I'm joined with my beautiful other half, my BF, BM, Ebony.
Hello, people.
Hi. So today we're going to talk about just how it is to establish a relationship within a blended family, especially in between a relationship between the women involved. As you know, most of the time it's not something that's easy to set up or to introduce. No one gets into a relationship start a family with the idea of having a blended family. And I think over the things that we have been through, we've been able to establish a true and authentic relationship over what Lo was 16, so about 14 years. It took a long time.
Finally.
But right, but it was worth it. It was worth it. So I guess to go into it, our story is, of course, you and Odell were, married, and you guys have a little O. And after the separation, me and Odell met, and things just started building from there. It wasn't necessarily this nice way that we were introduced to each other, so we had to, kind of figure that part out. And then we just kind of rolled in and went in it. How was it for you? Going into meeting me or just accepting the fact that I was, his little stepmom. Like, how was that for you?
It was at first shaky because we were never introduced formally.
Right.
So you just came one day and I was like, oh.
I dropped out of the sky.
You did. I showed up at my door with Odell and I was like, oh, okay. And still didn't get an introduction.
Right.
So that kind of made it shaky, from the beginning.
I think, like you said, the whole meeting each other, that aspect. And so if you think about it, we moved on without having that. So we didn't have a foundation.
Right.
We really didn't have a foundation. And so, to be honest with you, that affected me and Odell's relationship, me and Big Odell's relationship, the lack of me and you establishing something. So I do think it's important for the women involved to have a relationship or some foundation. But who's going to do that? It got down to who was going to initiate that conversation and start it. And I think that led to a lot of the conflict that we had, is that we didn't even have.
I agree.
Yeah, we didn't even have that. Like no shade to Odell, where we were supposed to establish something when we weren't introduced.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to be considered as well. And me being on the other end, and because I wasn't a mom when I came in, that was another thing.
Yes.
I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to do certain things. I didn't know how to consider you. I didn't know how not to consider. I didn't understand that balance. But I think as time went on, and when I had Briley, I understood the mother aspect of it, because I only heard Odell's side and understood Odell. So what do you think was something that was like our biggest conflict, in your opinion?
Biggest conflict.
I know it was many. They were like small, but they build up because there's so many.
Yeah.
So which one that sticks out to you?
That stood out?
You can be honest. I'm ready.
You sure?
I don't know.
Honestly, it wasn't like bad times. I mean, we disagreed because we didn't communicate. Right. So I guess I can remember one time when, and this is just from Lil Odell. So he was just like, well, if you go with your mother, then, in other words, I guess he felt like he had to pick and choose.
Yeah.
So I can't put it on one situation,
but just that feeling.
But
of
having him feel like
he was in the middle of our stuff.
Exactly.
But that's what happens, though.
He was in the middle.
Yeah. And he talked about that when I talked to him, and I think he put that, the way he handled that, I coped with it, is he was put us in boxes. He was like, when I'm over my mom's house, y'all cut off. When I'm over daddy's house, y'all cut off. And I think, part of that is on us and how we went into it. And it's important to know to lay the foundation, But when you start separating, I think we started buying into that too, because then you got offended. And so you get defensive, and not, that doesn't give you a inviting space to communicate to us, But once we started seeing how much the conflict was affecting us, for me, it was when Odell was turning, I can't remember how old he was turning, maybe 10 or 11. And we were in DC, and he was saying, I told him to tell you about his birthday party or his birthday plans that we have for him. He said, oh, well, my mom has this plan. And I said, well, we ain't doing 2 birthday parties. You're not getting over. You know, I'll come over to her party or whatever. And me and you didn't get to talk. We didn't get to connect. And I felt away. You know, I felt like, well, why can't she call me and blah, 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 blah. So I think on both of us, we wanted each other to come to each other. And we talked about it, but it wasn't a talk, it was an argument, you know.
Yeah, we did that a lot.
Yeah.
We did that a lot.
We did.
So now that you brought that up, I think to me, I felt a way when we were in another country.
Yeah.
And did not speak to each other.
Oh my God.
You and Odell, me and my husband, and we didn't speak to each other.
Yeah.
That to me was like, something has to change.
Yeah.
There's no way that my son lives with them. My son,
Yeah.
this is his stepmother, this is his father, and then we didn't speak. That was like almost the worst.
It was.
time.
It was an awkward feeling.
It was.
We were at the same wedding.
100 feet away. And
Yes.
did not say
And
hi.
Nothing.
Yeah, that was
Purposely,
that was tough.
intentionally,
I
did
know.
not speak
I know.
to each other.
That was tough.
You know what? I just can only imagine what it would have been like if we were at a good place.
Oh, I know.
We would have
did excursions together.
Yes, we would have had fun. Because when we are good, we laugh,
Yes.
we joke, and it's genuine.
You're my best friend.
I am. I BFBM. I think that I think that's why it's hard too. It's because I wanted to like you, right? Genuinely.
Yes.
It's hard for me not to. And I don't understand women who don't, or I understand you don't have to be friends, right? But I can't have some love for you and say I love your child.
Right.
It doesn't add up.
Right. It doesn't.
You know what I'm saying? Like I had to love you. That's how I had to operate. And so the love was there, but sometimes when you take people for granted, you take the relationship for granted, you don't think about it. And then I'm a child that's from a blended family, so I see the impact of things, you know, and how it was impacting him. And I think we just got to a place where we was like, we can't keep going in and out. We can't go in and out.
Right.
And one day, Odell was tired of me and you. I can't remember what happened, but I was like, something about, well, did you tell? Because he would never tell you. He would forget to tell you stuff. That would be frustrating on him. So I'm not calling her. You need to call her, right? And so I asked him, did he tell you something? And he was like, I don't know, you call her. No, I don't want to call her. And so he was like, I'm sick of you and Ebony not getting along, blah, blah, blah.
I remember that.
And I broke because I tried to hold it together. I genuinely wanted us to be this big, beautiful, happy family. I've always thought you were a beautiful woman.
Thank you.
Even when he told me, you know, of course when I met him, I was like, well, what's she look like? You know, I was like, hey, she cute. So I've always thought of you as a beautiful woman. And so that's hard too for me as a woman to like keep battling with you. And he's putting me in this position where I have to talk to you. I don't want to. I don't want to have to talk to her or figure this out. Because I felt like I didn't have to because I didn't have to see you every day. So I called you, and I called you crying, and you was like, what Odell do? You know? Immediately.
I did.
And you were receptive to be there for me. And I'm not lying to you. That was very, very special to me. Very special because, you know, I talked to my friends about it, but they don't understand it. And I felt like I had to just, at the end of the day, I could have called my best friend and had the conversation with her, but it wouldn't have been healing.
Right.
But me talking to you and being vulnerable, I don't know what that did to you to make you feel comfortable talking to me either, but it was, for me, it was our turning point. That was our foundation. It was that 4-hour conversation with tears and,
I remember.
you know, you just being present and being there for me. What made, when I called you, why were you okay with like receiving that from me?
Simply because I was just tired of us not liking each other or not. I can't even say we didn't like each other. We just didn't know each other. I just was tired of us the feud, just going back and forth and obviously you ain't going nowhere.
Right.
And I'm not. So,
Right.
I mean, I just felt like we just need to make it work. Forget what outsiders say, because that was a big factor.
It was.
Because statistically, everybody want us to feud.
Right.
It's just the world we live in.
Yeah.
But I felt like, no, I'm not a statistic. So we can make it work.
Yeah. I think that was...
And then I think you're real cool.
I am.
And you goofy.
Yeah.
Like me.
So we do have good conversations. I mean, even now, it's so crazy when I bring you up, or if I'm somewhere and I'm like, well, Odell's mom, and they're like, wait, you cool with her? Girl, yes.
I know.
Right? And I have to tell people, it's not that I agree with everything and we're just like, yeah, everything Emmy does is the greatest, or you say the same thing on us. Like, it's things that you don't agree with that goes on in our house, but we talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's different now because I can call you and tell you about his grades and say, well, this is what's going on, and well, he should have been. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you add your advice on it, but you're still connected.
Right.
And that's important. And I made a promise when we left overseas that I'm gonna always try to do my part to stay connected to you, so that you're connected to him.
We do a good job with that.
We do. We probably talk more, me and you.
I know.
Than
Odell or Odell.
Yeah.
Always talking to you.
But I really love where we are because, like you said, with just being tired of it, not believing into that narrative is important. And I don't know if I thank you.
You did.
I'm gonna thank you again on camera in front of the world and tell you that I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful that even this, you told me to do this.
I did. So what you waiting on?
Yes.
No, you're going to do this on the 1st of the month, and that's it.
And you didn't give me no breaks.
Nope.
And it's important that I was able to be vulnerable, because I think that's the scariest thing, is to be vulnerable with somebody who, it's a choice on if you connect with them.
Right.
And I think we both made a choice to at least attempt to be present for each other.
Right.
So I'm thankful for what we have. I definitely see the difference in our son, you know, even all the things that he has to go through in life as a black boy. The last thing he needs to do is have some crazy ass house to go, you know what I'm saying, to come home to. So I want to thank you for loving me, my children, and helping make me #dope.
Yes.
So
tell the people what dope is.
So dope. Ebony always comes up with these ideas. You always do. Like, I'll spit some stuff out, and then you'll give us a hashtag with your Caucasian emojis.
I am Caucasian
because she's half Asian.
You're sick.
But she comes. So I think another thing too is, and me and you talked about this in a form of conversation, is that there were times where it felt like it was me and Odell versus you. And that was one thing you said to me that I never considered, and it hurt me. Because I never wanted it to be a competition. And I know what it feels like to be alone, and I never wanted you to feel alone. Because you weren't there for those conversations when I would talk to Odell and say, well, that's his mom. To give a woman perspective, to understand that in some sort I did advocate for you. But it's hard. It's hard because I'm married to him.
Exactly.
And we didn't have that relationship to where I can have, like now, you know, where we've gone through things where Odell was like putting his foot down, and I'm like, well, you gotta still, you know, that's his mom. You need to understand this, and you know, things like that. But growth in our communication.
Yes,
that helped out. So, but dope is Darius, Ebony's husband, Odell, my husband, Priscilla, me, and Ebony.
Yes. And
collectively, we are parenting Odell, Tony, Briley, Titus, Michelle, Big Odell. He's still a child. We still gotta take turns changing his diaper, child. We'll talk about that on the next episode. But I want to thank you.
Thank you, PJ. Thanks for inviting me. And I want to thank you too, because I feel like if you weren't, I feel like you're the glue to me, Odell, honestly. if you didn't push him to communicate with me, if you didn't push me to communicate with him, we probably would still be our backs to each other.
Yeah.
So I genuinely want to thank you for that.
Oh, I love you.
You cute or whatever.
My friend. All right. Next episode will feature me, Ebony, and Odell, and we may sprinkle a special guest up in there too.